Good morning, y'all. It's such a pretty day out here. It's early. Well, I got out earlier than normal. So it's nice out here with a good breeze. Yesterday was a great day. I had a lot of work to do. I was super busy, but I got 3 phone calls, 3 great newses, 3 opportunities, 3 places of growth. Like, I wish y'all could walk this journey with me. You could, but it still wouldn't give you what it needed. So anyway, good morning, everybody. Let's chase these rainbows. Excuse me, I'm out. I guess the season is about to change because my eyes are swollen. You can hear it in my throat, but it's all good because I'm gonna keep on going. Walk with me, y'all. So every action has an equal and opposite reaction. What they don't tell you is you have the power of choice. Which action are you going to take? So let's chase these rainbows. Here we go. Let's first start with the act of thinking, because that's where it all starts. If you think negative thoughts, you can choose to get an equal or an opposite reaction. Most people take the comfortable road and take an equal reaction. So they'll have a negative thought, they'll produce a negative vibe or a negative energy, and they will receive that negativity but get upset because that's not what they were looking for. So I would dare you to try that opposite reaction, okay? So what you would do is you would take your negative thought, combat it with a positive thought. That positive thought is 100 times more powerful than that negative thought, right? So if that is more powerful, you take that negative, you have an equal positive, and then you choose that positive reaction, that opposite reaction. It's so crazy because it's not easy. Y'all, let me tell you something. When your mind believes something, it believes it 100%. So anyway, that was the act of thinking. To every action, the act of thinking, there is an equal, a negative. There is an equal, the same as, or there is an opposite. The opposite, which is different, which is a positive. So active thinking was number 1. Number 2, let's talk about the physical act. What you produce with your body language and what you produce with the things that you portray to the world, that's what you're going to get back. So a lot of people are unhappy because they're portraying what the world wants to see versus who they are. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Think about it. If the action is being somebody else, then the world is going to think you're somebody else. That's an action. Good morning. How are you? It's good to see you. That's how that works. However, if you portray to the world who you are, and you're content and happy within who you are, guess how the world is going to react? They're going to react to who you are. So for every action, there is a reaction. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Some people ain't going to like you. So what? Be you. Do you. Love you. And enjoy the reaction you get from yourself. Because that right there, that's some good stuff. Now, let's go to the verbal action. That verbal action is the beast. Let me tell you why. Because the Bible says the power of the tongue is like a 2-edged sword. It cut coming and it cut going. Now, I was talking to a friend yesterday. I'm not going to cry talking about her because one of these days I'm going to get her on here so y'all can hear her tell her growth. But nevertheless, I was talking to a friend yesterday and I was telling her, I'm like, listen, a knife can do 2 things. It can cut to kill or it can cut to heal. You get to choose which one you want to use. Which tool, you can choose the tool that you want and how you're going to use it. You can get a small knife, a big knife, You can cut deep, you can cut wide. At the end of the day, it cut both ways. So if the Bible gives you an equal opposite, an equal and an opposite, what do you think is going to happen in your everyday life? Be careful of what you speak. Be mindful of what you speak. And make sure that you always understand the words. Understand what people are saying before you respond. And if you do happen to respond in a way that it just came out like that, be okay with going back and apologizing about it. Because your words have power. And at the end of the day, what you speak into existence, that's real. Like, people, that is so real. I dare you to try it. Believe in your mind without a doubt, that you would have something realistic. And speak how you want that to happen. Don't worry about nothing else. Just speak it and then believe it. And then start acting on what you believe. And I promise you'll get it. You will speak those things into existence. You got to be able to be careful.
Halfway point reached.
Of the things that you spew out of your mouth. Because to every action, speaking is an action. There is an equal and opposite reaction. What are you going to get? What you get is what you gave. Remember that. The opposite would be your choice. People want the world to change, but they don't want to look in here first. This is where it all starts. You got to start here so that you could give it to somebody else. So we did the act of thinking. We did the act of body language, the act of moving, and we also did the act of speaking. Let me say this before I get to the end of my rainbow. Make sure you have both options in your pocket. Make sure, well, 3 options. Make sure you have all 3 options in your pocket. You know what it is, the act of. Make sure you find an equal and an opposite reaction. That reaction, sometimes that reaction can come from you. You know how many times I was like, dang, did I think that? That was a reaction for me. Why? Because it was what I had been thinking and didn't realize I made a habit out of it. So, make sure you have all 3 in your pocket. Make sure that you know the act. Make sure that you have an equal and an opposite reaction. Make sure that you change everything about you, and I promise you everything around you will change. Change your mindset, everything around you will change. Change your body language, your physical, everything around you will change. Change the way you speak, everything around you will change. Though a man believe in his heart, though he is. Belief is the key. What do you believe? What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about the situation? What do you believe about your future and success and what do you believe about all of the things that you have available for you? Do you believe that they will work for your good? Do you believe that these opportunities are good for you? Do you believe that God placed you in this position for a reason? I mean, you have been praying for it, right? You have been asking God to prepare you for your success moment, right? You have been asking God all the time, if not every day, if not multiple times a day, to allow every situation that you come across to give you the experiences and the learning that you need to do to prepare you for that day that He claims you to be successful. So if you've been praying for it, what you shocked for? If you've been praying for it, why you not working for it? If you've been praying for it and asking for it, why are you not looking for the signs that God is giving you? Or why are you disregarding them because you don't believe? Come on, y'all. I'm just saying, like, choose to act on things that are positive, and that equal and opposite will meet you. But I promise you that when it comes out, it will all work out for your good. For we know all things work together for the good of those who love God and who are called according to His purpose. You got to know it's going to work out. You got to know it's going to be okay. You got to know if you put in the act, God will give you the equal and some. You got to know that everything that you're about to walk into No matter how hard the season is, you got to know that it will work out for your good. You got to know that everything inside of you is ready for that good, but you got to be willing, you got to be looking for it, and you got to be on fire for it. There is no such thing as I want it, but I'm going to sit still. You can't, to every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, right? All right. So you can't say, I want a bigger home, but you're not grateful for the home that you're in. You complain about it 100% of the time. You can't say that you want better friends, but you keep accepting things that God keep telling you to walk away from. It don't work that way. You can't tell God you want to be successful, yet you choose to lay in bed and watch TV every day. And then get mad because you're not going anywhere. Look at your action. Look at your action before you look at anybody else's action. Check yourself first. Look at your reaction. What is your reaction? What are you doing? What is your action? I'm sorry. What is your action? What are you doing? What value are you placing on your life? What worth?
2 miles completed. Duration 40 minutes 6 seconds.
I don't know if y'all can hear that.
Current speed 3 miles per hour. Average speed 3 miles per hour. Total time 1 hour 10 minutes 8 seconds.
I don't know if y'all can hear that. But it's my little thing, my little workout thing be talking to me and tell me my distance. But anyway, what are you doing to change who you are? What are you doing to create a different world for yourself? What are you doing? What act are you giving? Is the act of thinking positive? Because you can't think positive and then not act positive. You have to be able to put it all together. So if you're going to act, be okay with the reaction you get. There will be an equal and opposite, meaning you're going to have both. You're going to have people who feel the same way about you that you do. You're going to have people that feel opposite about you than you do. So choose your actions wisely. Make sure they line up with God. Make sure you are one with yourself. You understand you. You build you spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, verbally. You give 100% of everything you got. And guess what that reaction gonna look like? Sometimes you just gotta sit down. And sometimes you just have to pay attention to the fact that you got everything it takes, but you got the act of thinking has to be different. You have everything that it takes. The act of believing has to be different. You have everything it takes. The physical act has to be different. It has to be different. You have everything it takes. Your verbal act has to be different. You should change on a regular basis. You know how many times people they are in my presence, they know who I am, they walk away from me and they come back and I be like, hey y'all, my name is Bebe. Why? Because I'm not the same Bebe you used to know. So I'd rather reintroduce myself to you and explain that so that I can get a different reaction out of you. Just remember, only what you do for Christ will last, number one. Number two, he made you in his image, fearfully and wonderfully, and he made you your own person. He gave you the power of choice. You get to choose what you speak into your life. Number three, be mindful of your actions, because they will have an equal and an opposite reaction. I think I'm done chasing this rainbow for today. Yep, I'm done. So, here you go. That rainbow is chased. So every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Don't worry about how people feel. Do your act. Some will feel the same you do. Some will feel opposite. And that's okay. Holla at y'all later.